Hello and welcome to lesson 7-1 on adding and subtracting decimals. So you are looking at the launch for this lesson. Go ahead and pull out your paper, pause this video, and see if you can answer this question. All right, hopefully you're able to pause the video and try to figure this out on your own. If you made an attempt, I'm proud of you and I'm glad that you were willing to challenge yourself. So this says that your friend hands $20 to a store clerk and says, I know the change that you owe that I get back, the money that I'm going to get back. And they're getting those two things. It looks like the first one is $9 and the second one is $17. So originally their total was $16 and it says all prices include tax. So it's $16 and they have a $20 bill in their hands. So originally they should have received $4 back. So they were going to get $4. But now they're saying, well, the clerk is saying, do you want two extra noses? And if you want these noses, they're another price. And these noses are 75 cents a piece. So depending on how you thought about this, there's a couple different ways. So if you have $4, it's written like this, it's $4. You could just take out 75 cents. Well, if $4 and 75 cents less than $4, that would be $3.25. And then I need to take out another 75 cents from that. And this is a trickier number to take 75 cents out of, but I know that I can break 75 into 25 and 50. So I'm going to use that number and I'm going to take 25 away from 3 at 325 first. So now I know I've got $3, but I still need to take away that other 50. So then I'll take out another 50 cents. So that will be $2.50 that'll be left over. And that's just one way of thinking about this mentally. So they would be receiving $2.50 back. But we'll be learning some strategies and techniques for working with decimals and how to add and subtract them throughout this lesson.
You can use what you know about adding whole numbers to add decimals.
All right, and that is completely true. When we're talking about adding whole numbers, let's go over some of the things that we do when we add whole numbers without talking about decimals quite yet, but what things that we do when we add whole numbers that you might have even forgotten that we do because it comes so naturally to you now. Let's say that I'm going to add 117 plus 24. Okay, so I'm going to add these two numbers and you're thinking, wow, Mrs. Baker, that's really easy. I don't need to review this. But bear with me for just a minute because this is important to remember. When you're adding these numbers, do we write them like this? No, because we have to line up the corresponding place value. So we have to say 117, that's 100, 110, and 7 ones. We have to add that to 2 tens and 4 ones. So we have to line up the correct place value. And whenever you're working with numbers, you are always lining up, or whenever you're working with numbers and addition and subtraction, I should say, you're always lining up the corresponding place values. It's very important that that happens. And then something else I'd like to ask you is if I have the number 13, where is my decimal in this number right now? You don't see a decimal, and the reason you don't see it is because it's understood that if there is not a decimal, the decimal is always at the end of the number. So 13 is the same as 13.000. We could add as many zeros as we wanted all the way here, and this number is still 13. But it's just understood that if we just have the number 13, we don't need to write all those decimals. But it is important to remember that there is a decimal after all numbers that don't already have a decimal. Okay, so it says you can use what you know about adding whole numbers to add decimals. Let's see what the steps are.
Write the addition in a column, using the decimal point to align the ones place and other place values.
All right, so just like I was saying, when you're adding any numbers or subtracting any numbers, you need to make sure that all of your place values are lined up. And when you have a decimal, it's really convenient because that's kind of like your lineup line. Your decimals line up and then everything else falls into place. Your ones are with your ones. Anybody remember what the number right after the decimal is? It's called the tenths place, not the tens place. This one is the tens. This one is the tenths, and this one is the hundredths, and this one is the thousandths. So I call them the spitting decimals because you always have to put that THS at the end of your number, and it kind of makes you spit a little bit. So here's the tenths place, the hundredths place, the thousandths place, and you have to make sure they're always lined up. The easiest way to do that is by lining up your decimals. That's why this line is right here. Let's move on to step 2.
Write zeros, if needed, so that the decimals have the same number of decimal place values to add.
Okay, where'd my picture go? Here we go.
There's a blank space in the thousandths place of the first number. Writing a 0 in the thousandths place as a placeholder does not change the value.
Perfect. So anytime we have a number, we can add as many zeros as we want to the end of it, and it will, or the end of the decimal, and it will remain the same number. So 15 and 9 hundredths, or 15.09, is the same as 15 and 99 hundredths, or 15.090, It's all the same number. We can add as many zeros as we need to. Let's see step 3.
Start at the right. 0 plus 1 equals 1. In the next place, 9 plus 4 equals 13. Regroup. In the tenths place, 1 plus 0 plus 7 equals 8. Align the decimal point in the sum with the decimal points in the addends.
Bring down the decimal.
5 plus 0 equals 5. There are no tens in the second addend, so carry the 1 into the sum. The sum is 15 and 831 thousandths.
Okay, 15. Anytime you see a decimal, you say the word and. So 15 and 831 thousandths. If you're wanting to go back and review some of the rules about place value and decimals, please go to our JCS Math website and explore some of those other resources on there just to sharpen your decimal skills before moving on.
Completed in 1937, the Golden Gate Bridge was the longest suspension bridge in the world for 27 years. One of the modern wonders of the world, the Golden Gate Bridge is a favorite attraction for visitors to San Francisco. The diagram below shows the length of the main span of the Golden Gate Bridge. Together, the side spans add 686 thousandths of a kilometer to the suspended portion of the bridge. What is the length of the suspended portion of the bridge?
Okay, so we have the total length of the bridge, which we can see by this longer line. The main span is 1.28 or 1 and 28 hundredths kilometers. And the suspended portion of the bridge, the part that's actually like hanging, is not supported into the ground, just the suspended portion of the bridge. It says together the side spans add 0.686 or 686 thousandths kilometers to the suspended portion of the bridge. And as I read that, I believe that means that all together, so both sides combined, add up to be 686 thousandths. And what is the length of the suspended portion of the bridge? So what is this length of the bridge? All right, well, let's go ahead and work this out. So we have the main span of the bridge. This part right here is 1.28 kilometers. And we are wondering what the total suspended length is after we include the sides, which have a total of 0.686 kilometers. And when we're adding decimals, the most important thing is that we line up those decimals to make sure all of our place value is in line. So I'm just going to rewrite this down here, 1.28 plus 0 point, my decimals are lined up, 686. And this is my new math problem. I'm just going to put my addition line here. If you'd like to put in a 0 here, it's a good habit to get into, just so we know that this for sure, everything lines up. 0 plus 6 is 6. 8 plus 8 is 16. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Plus 6 is 9. Bring down your decimal, and 1 plus 0 is 1. So the new length of the total suspended length of the bridge is 1.966 kilometers. And I'm curious if someone looks that up, if that's actually true. I bet it is. Here's the got it, and that's in your book. Go ahead and try this. It's talking about the picture that we were just looking at on the previous page. So now they want you to find the total length of the bridge. So we found that it was 1.966 kilometers of the suspended portion, but the other ends, the non-suspended portion, the part that's in the ground, adds another 0.771 kilometers to the total length of the bridge. So what is the total length of the Golden Gate Bridge? Go ahead and pause the video, try this on your own. All right, hopefully you were able to work on that. Let's just go ahead and add this together. 1.966 plus 0. We line up our decimals, 771 kilometers. 6 plus 1, 7. 6 plus 7, 13. 1 plus 9, 10. 10 plus 7, 17. Carry the 1, bring down my decimal. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2.737 is the number I got. Let's see if we are correct. Awesome. And we read this as 2 and 737 thousandths is our answer. All right, and in this second got it, it says, how does writing a 0 as a placeholder for a decimal change the value of the decimal? We talked about that already. Does it change the value? Writing a 0 does not change the value of the decimal. You can write zeros to the right or left of all digits of a decimal without changing its value. Interesting. All right, this is the end of our addition segment where we're learning about adding decimals. Next, we're going to learn about subtracting decimals, but I don't want to try to squeeze that into the next 3 minutes of this video. So I'm just going to make a second video for all of you, and then we'll wrap everything up in that second video.